Good afternoon, and welcome to the London Buddhist Centre once again, to the Breathing Space Shrine Room in the basement. It's Jana Dyer is my name. I'm here with Richard, who's just left the room for a moment. He's back. You'll be pleased to know. So we're here together, and we'll be doing some qigong. Title today, which I have been reminded of, is working the lungs. So we'll be doing a bit more of the lung element. The metal element actually for the lungs than usual, but we'll do a kind of fairly rounded session. So pleased to see you, well, not to see you, but pleased you're here if you are, and let's start the warm up. So feet hip width apart, knees slightly bent, and we're just going to swing the arms.
Adrian is here.
Hello, Adrian. Nice to have you back. It's very nice these sessions. To see, well, to have familiar. Well, I know that familiar faces in a way.
Liz is here.
Hi, Liz. Nice to have you here as well.
Am I late, says Adrian?
No, you're not late, Adrian.
Fraser is here.
Hi, Fraser. Nice to have you here as well. Hi, Gadi. So very nice, very kind of. It's a real regulars class. Wales, Scotland, London. Brighton is, isn't it, I think?
And Sheffield.
And Sheffield. Paul's Sheffield. One of the Pauls.
Where's Adrian? Adrian London.
I think Adrian's London. Okay, so just to reiterate, the key things with this is just to keep the arms apart and not to come too much really above heart level, so it's not to put strain on the heart. Come sideways on. So knees bent. You can raise the toes on the uplift, extend the fingers a little bit. So we're just helping the blood to circulate a bit more freely, helping the chi to circulate a bit more freely. And we'll do this for about 5 to 10 minutes. So the usual qigong warm-up. So it's very nice to have Richard here. Esther was saying that she was enjoying our sort of conversation yesterday, although she can always hear Richard, which, as we were saying yesterday, is a good thing generally. She did ask me to repeat what Richard says, but I won't do that. We're both agreed that would not be a good idea.
Seb is here.
Hi, Seb.
Seb.
Oh, Sed. Hi, Sed. Yeah. So another kind of very regular. Can't remember where Sed's from.
You're from Sheffield.
Sed, I don't think you're from Sheffield, Sed, are you? Maybe you could let us know or remind us where you're. We can sort of pin people to the mental map of the world. It's very nice. It's very nice doing this class with Richard. It's nice to do it with a friend and to have a chat. That's one of the things about this form of qigong that my teacher, the guy I go to classes for, he always say, just relax, talk, watch telly, listen to music, let the qi do its thing. So
what did you actually do when you were in the class with him? Did you chit-chat with him?
I'm not much of a chit-chatter in those classes. Other people talk quite a lot more than I do. I never felt particularly comfortable, or particularly kind of part of the in-crowd or something. So I'd normally be quite quiet and grumpy. And think, what are they going on about? So negative.
But they were chatting.
Yeah, they would chat quite a lot. Norfolk said, nice. Norfolk. They're a good old county, but I guess all the counties are good and old, aren't they? Norfolk. Okay. Yeah, so we'll do plenty of lung. We'll do kind of the lung position, metal, and then some movement with metal. And maybe we'll do a little frog marching at the end. So, yeah, it's genuine qigong. No news of Adriana?
No, she's bunking off today. The builders,
Maybe the builders have driven her insane. No, we'll be sending Adriana a little note.
Detention,
I think so. Richard's saying detention for Adriana. Yes. Oh, 45 minutes of fire. I'll come sideways on again just for a change. Oh yeah, looking at that, I was Adrian asking me about the figures behind me last time.
Yeah.
I was saying to Richard, I just by chance started to read a collection of Sangharakshas on Tibetan Buddhism. He was talking quite a lot about, he was talking about the Green Tara visualization practice, actually. So I thought it was quite interesting that you have Green Tara there next to Avalokiteshvara, so green and the white, and Tara being mythologically born from the tears of Avalokiteshvara as he surveyed the suffering of the world. So Tara being the quintessence of compassion. Very beautiful.
Was Milarepa green?
Yeah, Milarepa was green, Richard's saying, very good. He was green because he ate a lot of nettles, a lot of nettle soup.
Nothing else?
Yeah, he didn't survive on much else than nettle soup and went green. How are we time? I think we've been doing this for quite a while, haven't we? No?
Well, it's time to
move on. My director is chivvying me to move on now. So let's do it a little bit longer, just to thwart him, to prove who's in charge here. Okay, and then just shaking it. And a little bit of bouncing. In that book, I found a good Qigong title as well, because he's talking about the Tibetan people as having their heads in the clouds, but their feet on the ground. So I think we're going to have Qigong, Qigong for meditation, head in the clouds, followed by, let's go this way, feet on the ground. I know that's probably a spoiler for people who look forward to their weekly Qigong titles.
Do you think anyone reads the titles?
Richard, how dare you? Richard's questioning whether people even read the titles. I spend at least 30 seconds thinking them up. I'd be very hurt. Okay, all right, shaking again, and then feet together, hands just for the knees, and we'll rotate the knees.
Who asked you to find nice titles?
Stiramanus is the culprit. I guess he's asked by somebody else. I think it's a sort of YouTube marketing thing as much as anything else. I shouldn't be saying that really, I don't think, but I just have.
20 people.
Richard's quite surprised that we've got 20 people. That's a shocking number of people turning up with Qigong.
It just went down.
We lost two. We lost two in the blink of an eye. I thought, no, this isn't what we. This is not what we were expecting. I don't know what they were looking for. Maybe something quite different. Anyway, 18, pretty good. It's better. I think we were 16 yesterday at one point. And who knows, one of those might be like hundreds of people in the one link. It can be some very misleading figure. Yeah, I think so. Let's go back the other way. Yeah, it's a big hall with a massive, it's not like Wembley Stadium. Yeah. Or the new Tottenham ground. I'm waiting for my invitation from Wembley or Tottenham to host that. Maybe once COVID's over. Never want that.
6 people.
Yeah, that wouldn't be worth it, would it? Wouldn't be worth my trouble, you know. Wouldn't cover the limousine. Oh, I'm struggling a bit to get around here. Okay. Oh. And then hands on hips, and we'll just rotate the hips. Richard's got his all black outfit with the colourful pocket, just for your information. A little dazzling splash of colour. Otherwise quite ominous outfit.
Look at you. It's green, it looks like you're wearing an all black ominous outfit.
Oh yeah, Richard thinks I'm looking pretty ominous too. I think he's taken umbrage. I'm going to try and get Richard wired up at some point. I'm sure there must be a way to do that. A little mute button as well.
I like lurking
in the shadows, yeah. Okay, let's go the other way. Yeah, so just a reminder that next week we're starting our lunchtime classes. So we can get about 16 people in the main shrine room upstairs. So there's bookable places and a few places for people who can turn up on the door, but best book if you want to come along.
It hasn't been thwarted by the regulations.
Not that I know of, not yet anyway.
I think the Archbishop of Canterbury said yesterday that he thought places of worship were excluded.
Right, okay. So the Archbishop of Canterbury is thinking that places of worship, of which this is one, are excluded from any regulations. Essentially, Mike Bandy was saying yesterday, we had a meeting about these new classes, and he was saying that if you've been watching, he's probably said this plenty of times online, but this was the London Buddhist Centre bar. We could pack the place, serve alcohol, and have people chat without any sort of social distancing problem. Pretty much. Well, there'd be some, I guess, wouldn't there?
So,
but we can't do that.
Considering it, just installing
the London Buddhist Centre bar. We could get you to brew some for us. You can have just Dharma Ale. Yeah, maybe good names for Buddhist beer. Okay, let's shake hands. Of course, that's a long tradition, isn't there, of monasteries and
Well, I think,
religious houses.
Benedictine.
Yeah.
Do any Buddhists make it?
I think some Tibetan Buddhists are very fond of is it Chang or whatever it is. There's a, I think partly because it keeps them warm. It's very cold. I think it's sort of so.
What is that? Is that like a
Chang.
rice wine?
I'm not sure what it is exactly. Let's do the last one, which is so raising the energy ball and then just tracing the inside of a circle. So without overexertion, just within your capacity. So breathing in, breathing out. So in time with your own breath. Yeah, no, I don't know what it's made of. I was in where was I? I think I was in Sikkim and stayed on this. Maybe somebody else has stayed there. It's this hilltop sort of village, and there was a Tibetan guy, I think, who reputedly had been the chef to the Dalai Lama, and he liked his Chang beer. Of course, Ryokan liked his sake.
Yeah, I was thinking.
Yeah.
And tobacco. He smoked pipe.
Did he? Ryokan? Oh yeah, maybe he did. He doesn't talk very much about the pipe smoking, does he? He talks more about the sake. Or writes about it.
Generally, Buddhists don't drink, right?
Generally not, no, because it's intoxication, so it would go against the precept of mindfulness. But it's not to say that I don't have a glass of wine occasionally or a beer, but not often to to excess. Not often to salt, really. But yeah, so I think generally speaking, the idea is that you're mindful. Well, you were talking about how your relationship to drink has changed, hasn't it, of late? Or
Yeah.
since you've been meditating 8 hours a day. Okay, that'll do. Let's shake hands again. Yeah, so Richard was saying that he used to. Well, you don't mind me saying, do you?
No.
Yeah, but let's go into Wu Chi. So arms slightly rounded, fingers a bit spread, knees bent, just not to obstruct the flow of Chi. And I'll come sideways on. So again, just have the pelvis neutral, so and hips not thrust forward or stuck out, just in the middle, looking ahead. Wu Chi, just like Shunyata, I think that's how I think about it, rightly or wrongly. So working on all of the organs. Anyway, so as I was saying before, Richard was saying that he used to find he couldn't relax until he'd had his first drink in the pub, but now it works the other way around. Yeah. I wonder if people who've been doing it for a while have started to notice a sort of change in when they do qigong, whether you can feel a bit more energy in the body or in the hands or the arms. Esther was saying she felt kind of more alive, I think, after doing it last time, or less tired anyway. Do you want to do that? Are you going to do that? Richard's, what do you call it? He's doing the same thing. Free forming or something. So maybe we can all do that. So we just push the hands back a little bit. So we just you can do this more or less. It's more. It's just a bit more effort to push the hands back a bit more. But you don't just have to have them just a little bit kind of behind.
Is there a word for this, or is it just a variation?
Yeah, there might be. I don't know. I haven't done it an awful lot in classes, but a few times.
It's important to have your knees bent, right? You can't do it like this.
Yeah, no, it's important that the knees are bent. Just I think if the knees are kind of locked, it just obstructs the flow of chi. So, were you saying about soldiers and somebody was saying, the kind of the rigid Western soldier position is not actually very conducive to fighting, whereas this is a much more balanced and much more live position. I think it was my friend Gary saying that.
The soldiers don't fight all bolt upright, do they? Isn't that just?
Well, you know what I mean. Yeah, but there is that sort of upright. Well, just that, So, but I guess that's.
Were you ever a soldier? Were you in the cadet corps?
I was in the Navy,
Right.
the Naval Cadet Corps. Were you in the?
Yeah, I guess I was in the army.
Army. No, you were probably an officer or something, weren't you?
No, you could sort of get out of it by doing rock climbing. So I spent a couple of years climbing the Avon Gorge.
Ah, so Richard was climbing the Avon Gorge whilst his colleagues, his friends were fighting for king and country. That sounds very nice, climbing the Avon Gorge.
Scary.
Was that?
Yeah.
Oh, were you abseiling?
Right under the suspension bridge. That's
Oh, wow.
where we'd come up onto the bridge.
Oh my gosh. So you climb up onto the suspension bridge.
What did you do in the Navy? Were you in submarines?
No, not inside. I don't know what we did. Not a lot, I don't think. I wasn't, I think, I remember sort of polishing my shoes pretty much. And I wasn't a very keen cadet. I wasn't a keen cadet at all. My heart definitely wasn't in it. Which is it's more to my detriment, I think, than anything else.
This would have been when you were sort of 13, 14 years
Yeah, maybe a bit older than that, yeah. A little bit.
But not in the sixth
one. No, probably not. Not even fifth one. Okay, let's come up to metal. So we're doing the what we're supposed to be doing. How long has it taken us? Not too long, 25 minutes. So metal is again, it's as if you're holding a beach ball around about the middle, space between the hands for at least another hand to pass through. Fingers a bit spread naturally. Palms facing the lungs. So very good. Richard's getting better, I think. Just he'll soon be here, and I'll be in the background. can't remember anything particularly exciting. I think once a helicopter ride, possibly, which is, that's not to be sniffed at.
Shooting guns.
Oh yeah, shotguns. Yeah, not very well though.
Big guns, like.
I think they were just old Enfields or something. They're bigger shot. Yeah, no, I think I just was too nervous to be a good shot.
It's quite a bang, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. Well, you're good. I bet you were a good shot.
No.
But you're not. Rich is incredibly meticulous. If you haven't met him, he's very, very, very meticulous. So I'm a bit surprised that you weren't. You probably got the temperament for a sniper, I would have thought.
No. I'm a little bit jittery.
Oh yeah.
This is not a good quality.
I don't know if you heard that, but if you didn't, Esther was saying she couldn't always hear what Richard said, but he was saying that he was a bit jittery to be a good shot. And I could just imagine it. Him as a sniper. Something like that. Do carry on.
I'm carrying on.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, good. All right, metal. So very good for the lungs. Metal.
We used to have people pass out on the parade.
Oh yeah.
Which is really nasty. They would just keel over and cut their head or their chin.
Yeah.
On the parade.
Yeah. So yeah, people do. I remember people passing out as well. I think we had a gravel courtyard as well, and it's just like straight down. I see people pass out doing qigong as well.
I was about to say there are some similarities.
Yeah. Yeah, they probably are just standing. Yeah. And it's hot. Okay, so let's just shake out a bit, and then we'll do the movement, and then we'll do the yin version of that. Just shake a bit, shake the shoulders. Okay. Okay, so coming up to metal again, breathing in and out. I do. I kind of when I come out, I lean forward, and then, but I don't know if that's orthodox. Just when some people might be the other way around. You can also just tense the calf muscles when you do this, and it's a bit hard to do, but that's like the calf's the second heart, or no, so it sort of, I think, just pumps the blood up to the heart a bit, around the body again. So you can sort of contract the calves for as long as you can and then release. No, it's quite hard, isn't it? Let's do 5 more. And just come to rest. So right hand below the navel, left hand on top. And into Wuchi. And then we'll come back up into metal, but this time, if you just sort of lightly touch the ring finger and thumb together on both hands, and just sort of bring them up. So to metal, but with the fingers and thumb touching. So I don't know if that helps at all. So this is the yin version. Oh, I tell you what was interesting as well, which I read in this book on Tibetan, this Sangharakshita's description of Tibetan Buddhism, is that there's, if you have a visualization of the Tara practice, and part of that is you imagine the seed syllable associated with Tara, which is tam, so it's a particular syllable, or that's like om, it's similar to om, so it's tam in her case. And then you have the letters of her mantra around the seed syllable, and they move anti-clockwise. So you're visualizing the seed syllable and you're visualizing the letters of the mantra as well as reciting it, and you're visualizing them going around anti-clockwise. But for the male bodhisattvas, they go clockwise, which made me think of with this one, where in Qigong, like if you're a man, the left hand's on top, and if you're a woman, the right hand's on top. So I thought that was interesting. And it's also interesting talking about these bodhisattva figures, that you have like the three sort of, I guess, developmental stages of Buddhism. So the Hinayana, the Mahayana, and the Tantrayana. And saying all of the bodhisattva figures in Mahayana are male, but it's only in Tantra that you have female bodhisattvas. I don't know, it just struck me as being interesting. I've been reading, a little bit of reading.
So while you were talking about the clockwise, anti-clockwise, is that sort of traditional Tibetan visualization? Yeah,
I think it probably is Tibetan. Although again, I was reading this morning that like Tibetan Buddhism is it's the closest form of Buddhism, well, according to Sangharakshita, to like the height of Buddhism in India before it was sort of wiped out. So like Buddhism lasted 1500 years in India after the death of the Buddha, and it had reached this apogee of its development, the Hinayana, Mahayana, and Tantrayana living sort of side by side, and that went to Tibet. So in a way, Tibetan Buddhism is the closest form of Buddhism to that sort of to Buddhism 1,500 years after the death of the Buddha. I don't know why I was.
That's interesting. So Tibetan Buddhism doesn't really have so much of a connection with Chinese Buddhism. It's more coming
Yeah, well, that's what he's saying, that it's and also he quotes Edward Conzer, like the Buddhist translator, saying that the closer that a particular sort of form of Buddhism or school of Buddhism is to the heartland, to India, the more, the closer it is to the original teachings of the Buddha. Sangharakshita doesn't necessarily agree with that, but he posits that.
It's extremely interesting. What's the name of Sangharakshita's book?
Oh yeah, it's in his collected works. There's a whole volume on Tibetan Buddhism. I'll look up. So it's not just Tibetan Buddhism actually, because it's also got stuff on Christianity, art of Christianity that he wrote as well. But there's I think 3 sections of it are papers or little booklets he wrote on Tibetan Buddhism. So I'll look it up. I'll let you know next time if you're here. Yeah. But it's in that series. It's in the volume. If you maybe look up collected works of Sangharakshita and put Tibetan or Tibetan, it would come up with that volume. It's very. It's also got Zen in as well. I think it's got Tibetan Buddhism, Zen Buddhism. Then it's got his writings on Christianity.
Zen Buddhism is probably the furthest from India.
Possibly.
China.
Yeah, maybe.
Japan,
yeah.
Wasn't talking to anyone.
Yeah. In the bit I was reading today, he was saying like Japanese Buddhism is the most sectarian Buddhism. So like you've got all the schools of Buddhism represented in Japan, but they're sort of different and sometimes conflicting or opposing schools. Whereas with Tibetan Buddhism, like all of the schools are, even the different traditions like the Gelugpas and the Nyingpas, they're still incredibly tolerant of each other. And so Tibetan Buddhism contains the whole Buddhist teaching in a much more tolerant manner than Japan, for example. Japan is very sectarian. And Tibetan Buddhism not being like that, even the distinction between monks and laity is much more fluid. That you can be a very kind of, there are lots of monks, but the laity also really practice. It's not less valuable. I haven't put that very well, but it's about as good as I can do. Very interesting. You're hurting. Okay, let's come down. And a little shake.
Sold it to me, the book.
Have I? Liz, oh, good. Yeah, no, I really, his writing is he's a very good writer. But I really enjoy just reading a bit every morning. Well, the last 2 mornings.
He was very prolific. Do you know how big his collected works are?
I don't know, but massive. He also talks about how, like the Tibetans, you have this thing where they're incredibly intellectual. They're very, very scholarly, and at the same time have very strong meditation practices. So he was really, if it was in our tradition, it would be like you had somebody like, I don't know who, some great Christian scholar. I don't know, Erasmus or something, equally being like this sort of mystical sort of meditative figure, like St. John of the Cross, whoever it might be. So we're back to Wuchi.
Did he spend much time in Tibet?
None. No, he wasn't allowed into Tibet. I think there was, when he was in Kalimpong, he was, I think even today, I was there in 2016. It's like there's suspicion that he was a CIA agent or something, or a communist. So I can't remember why he wasn't, because he was due to go to Tibet with the when the relics of Shariputra and Moggallana, these two figures, I think around the 2005 year anniversary of the Buddha's death or birth, that their ashes were processed throughout India and then up into Sikkim. So he went to Sikkim and into Tibet, but he wasn't allowed into Tibet for whatever reason. So no, he never went there, but he spent time in Kalimpong and had lots of contact with Tibetans. I was going to say that he talked about kind of young Tibetans coming down into Kalimpong within, wearing traditional robes or chukpas, whatever they're called, and having their hair in braids around the head. And within a month or so, they'd be wearing sharkskin suits and natty hairstyles and carrying transistor radios rather than rosaries and learning to disco dance. So, how are we doing for time? 40, is that 41?
Yeah.
Okay. I had one of the nicest things happened to me in Kalimpong was just walking. I was walking to one of the monasteries where Sangharakshita did go. He had some teachings there. And this old, wizened Tibetan monk just sort of stopped me on the street and I don't know what he did. He didn't just say, but he was just smiling. It was so lovely. Yeah, no, Liz, it's really interesting book. I think also the stuff he's done, I think the FWB and Protestant Buddhism's in that collection, and from Genesis to the Dharma Sutra.
Liz, a friend said that all forms of Buddhism are part of its growth. Therefore, we need to be familiar with the whole, even though we will have a predilection for a particular form.
I think Sangharakshita's approach is that, or was that, I guess Buddhism's coming to the West from all sorts of traditions are coming to the West, and we can learn from all of them. You're trying to kind of get the essence of, get to the heart of the Buddha's teachings through all forms, and sort of, rather than being distracted by kind of cultural attachments to it. But that each form might have something unique to it that we can learn from. So he talks about Tibetan Buddhism having that you can distill the essence of the Buddha's teaching from Tibetan Buddhism, but you can also learn from particular aspects of it. I'm just parroting what he said. That sounded good to me. Okay, let's do the final sort of metal thing, which we'll do part of the brocade, which is breathing in, and then we'll turn to the right, twist, looking out, come back to the center, back to metal, and down. Breathing in, twist again, into fire, back to metal, and down. We'll do 2 more, running out of time. Been rabbiting away a little bit less, we might have got around to this. This is quite nice. You can do a bit more of this if you want. Okay, and let's just shake. Oh, that's quite nice. All right, and then just gathering up. So breathing in, left hand to the right, to the left, and to the right. And then just swimming around to the kidneys, giving them a little rub. Breathing in. And then just rubbing the hands. I think Richard's going to post the Dana link, so if you can support us, please do. That would be really appreciated. Of course, everything here is free, so you're welcome not to, but we'd really appreciate anything you can do to help us. Okay, and then just rubbing the neck. To connect the head and the Just good for the central nervous system. A little clap if you want. Another rub. Okay, good. I hope you enjoyed that. And we will be back next Tuesday. Have a good rest of the week. Okay, bye.